Look at all of these key cards I have, and every single one of them tells a story. This is my Royal Hotel key card. This is actually a fake key card I made for my fake hotels. It's just made out of a key card because literally what they gave us, they didn't even give us, like, when we asked for another card one time, we asked for one because we lost one of them, they literally just gave us a blank card that works with it, but it had just this on it and writing on the back, and it didn't even correspond to the hotel. Julie. 405. Nope, give me a second. So this was actually from my birthday. We stayed in a Julie Hotel, which is one of my favorite hotels. And they gave us 2 welcome cards because it was my birthday. They gave these to me. So see how this corresponds nothing to the actual Julie card. It just tells you what to do. But they gave me these because they gave me 2 of them just because it was my birthday that day. So that's fun. Now in the same bin I have these 2. And these 2 are from a different Julie stay. This was from a stay earlier in the year. And me and my mom went to Julie that time. So it was only me and my mom. But for this one it was me, my mom, and my dad. Now, I'm going to bring another Julie card out here. This is me and my mom's first ever Julie stay. Because this was me and my mom's because we wanted to just do a hotel. And my dad said it was going to be too expensive. So, me and my mom just me and my mom went. And this is now my favorite hotel. And me and my mom go there all the time, and it's cheap. This one has the most cards in it. This is just a Marriott thing, but if I flip all of this over, we went to New York to see my dad's dad. So we stayed in a Motel 6 on the first night in Pennsylvania, Hershey, Pennsylvania, and it was right next to a Super 8, or that's what I think it is. Now, we have 2 extended stay America cards. This is where we stayed in Syracuse, New York, where we got to see my older brother. And my oldest brother wasn't there, but because he was at work that week. Next, the Inn at Grandview. We took a 2-hour trip to Grandview, or Ogdensburg, to see my dad's dad. So we stayed in the Inn at Grandview. Then, near the end of the trip in Liverpool, we stayed at Hilton Homewood Suites because we wanted something nice at the very end of the stay that we knew wouldn't be too out of our price range, but still pretty good for the end of the stay, especially because it was like a 2-week trip. Then the last card, we just literally went to Fairfield. Like, we just found one and we just took it because it was the last room available. I don't know. There were like 5 hotels next to it, and the Country Inn was booked, the Holiday Inn was booked, and the Hilton was booked. And this one had 1 room left. So this was the only way we would have been able to fit in because we went to Hershey Park that day. And my mom booked the inn at Hershey Park, and my mom thought that was an actual Hershey thing. But then it ended up being a 2-star thing with everything ceramic, lapped, and my mom wouldn't even put the dogs in there, so we had to leave and grab and find whatever we found. So we found the Fairfield. Also, I'm remembering this, and this is from like 2 years ago. Actually, this is from Special. This is all of our family trips. So family trips go up here. I'm gonna bring in this one because this has a lot of stuff in it. Actually, it does. Okay, so not all of this corresponds. So the first card is my first ever hotel I went to. This was a Courtyard Marriott in Rock Hill, I believe. And this was my first ever hotel I've ever been to. And I was like 7, I believe. So that's why I kept this. So that was a Courtyard by Marriott. And then we had to have our kitchen renovated because there was like mold under the hardwood floors or whatever. So we stayed at the Staybridge Suites. These are the key cards for that. And this is where we stayed. Then, here is the actual correspondence to this. So this, we stayed at Hilton Embassy Suites. And it was my dad's first ever Saturday off, because he has never had Saturdays off except for that one time. And this was when he didn't ask for this off. He only has to ask for Saturdays off, which he never gets Saturdays off. So that's why we went to a hotel that night. But we did have to get him into work that Sunday morning. So that's special to me. Now, Sonesta. We actually stayed in the Sonesta, like, my mom has stayed in it 4 times. I've stayed in it 3 times. So I actually don't have any more key cards for it, except for these 2. So the first time I went is when it was still the Crowne Plaza. Literally, I don't know how I don't remember how we don't have the key card to it. But I was in it I stayed in it when it was still the Crowne Plaza. So I like the Crowne Plaza kind of better. I don't know. But this was my first ever stay here. We literally just got a preferred room. No, we got a preferred room with a balcony because my mom didn't want to go too fancy, no suites, and because that would be too expensive, and no tiny rooms because this was me and my mom and my dad. But they double booked us, which if you do not know what double booking is, they had some people inside of the room and they booked us on that room so that there was someone already in the room when we went in the room. So they gave us a free upgrade to a suite, and my mom was so thankful. They gave us a free upgrade to a executive suite, which is the nicest suite in the whole hotel, and we will room 1801. And then here is the most recent one. This was when I went to a concert, my first ever concert, and we stayed in hotel. We stayed in room 105 because we got a pool view. And here is our train tickets. I actually cannot find my dad's, both key card and train ticket, but who knows. This one. This is the weirdest Wi-Fi name I have ever seen. CLTPG 2010. But this was when me and my mom stayed at the Hilton Home 2 Suites. So we got the suite, of course, because it was Home 2 Suites. So we just got a regular suite. No, we got a studio suite. And it was nice. And this was before we went on our big trip. My mom couldn't me and my mom couldn't stop going because we loved hotels. We love hotels so much. So whenever we have extra money, we always put it aside to like one night at a hotel if we have a lot of extra money. And now it's time for this. This was literally 2 weeks after the Home Tuesday. This was literally 2 weeks after. This time, give me a second. I'm dropping everything. Give me a second. This time, we stayed at a Holiday Inn. We stayed at the Holiday Inn Resort in Orlando, Florida. We stayed in Florida, yes. So this was 2 weeks after the Home 2, and we went to Florida. And we had this hotel booked for like 8 weeks in advance. And we stayed in the resort. We stayed in the Holiday Inn Resort Orlando Suites Water Park. That's the whole name. Now, this one is another stay that me and Mom went to. So, this was a Loft Suites by Marriott. Come on, get in there. And this was my second ever concert we went to, and we stayed at Country Inn and Suites by Radisson.